Okay, so we are going to talk today about long-term plans, long-term goals. What we're specifically going to be discussing is whether or not working for a regional will be helpful or hurtful when it comes to reaching your ultimate goal of working for a major airline or a mainline airline or a legacy carrier. So as we know right now, there are no mainline, there are no legacy carriers hiring. American and United are in this weird limbo between calling flight attendants back and issuing more warn letters. Delta still has hundreds of people on leave. Hawaiian and Alaska, they are also several years from hiring flight attendants again. And so if any of those airlines are your goal, you have a couple of years between now and then. It is March 1st, 2021. You have a couple years between now and when that opportunity for you to apply to one of those airlines presents itself. So in the meantime, though, there is opportunity to become a flight attendant. When I checked this morning, there were 10 airlines in the United States accepting applications and hiring flight attendants. So there is opportunity to become a flight attendant, but I'm going to guess that your airline is not one of the ones that is currently hiring. So what are we going to do in the meantime? Let's talk about it. There are three main options. There's three options. You have choice between three different things for you to do right now. And I will tell you, they will all help you get closer to your goal of working for one of these other airlines. So whatever airline you are dreaming of, any one of these three options will move you closer to that goal. Okay, so the first one is stay where you are. If you are working in a job that you enjoy, you are compensated well, your team is amazing, you love your lifestyle, you like your location, you like what you're doing, you like your job, you're comfortable, stay put. Keep doing what you're doing now. Save up some money, use your vacation, build some relationships, get your life in a place where when the opportunity presents itself, you may be taking a pay cut. Even if you go to one of the big boys, you may be relocating. You may have some other lifestyle changes. You absolutely will have lifestyle changes when you reach your dream airline and when you become a flight attendant for them. So right now is a great time for you to enjoy your life and make arrangements for a smooth transition into the flying life. So that's the first option. Just stay put. If you feel like your resume is lacking because of your job, though, you could add in some volunteer work, working with the public, working with people. If you feel like you're kind of like lacking the skills, if you say, oh no, Abby, I don't want to just stay put, I don't know if that's going to help my resume. It's fine. Airlines hire for personality, train for skill. But if you want to do a little something extra, you can also add some volunteer work that is working with the public or working with people, and that can help to fluff that resume up and add a couple more keywords to it. So that's the first option, just to stay put. The second option is to go into aviation and get a job on the ground. Now, the best way to do this, if you have a specific dream airline, is to work on trying to get hired by that dream airline working on the ground. So there's a couple different ways that you can work on the ground. One is working as a ramper, which is usually called a baggage handler outside of aviation. They load bags and they marshal the aircraft in and out. They clean the lab, they de-ice the airplane. So they work outside on the ground. That's a ramper. Another option would be working as a customer service agent, usually called a ticket agent outside of aviation. So checking people in, interacting with the customers, helping the customers, boarding the planes, things like that. That's another option. A third option is to get a job working maybe at headquarters. So this is great if you are like a human resources professional, or you're a marketing professional, or you have some kind of background that all companies and all big corporations need, then maybe you want to get a job on the ground working at headquarters. There's also opportunities in reservations, answering the phones, booking, rebooking, taking customer complaints, things like that. Here's why getting a job, this is why you would maybe want to do this. If first of all, you're unemployed or you're just making minimum wage and you hate your job. So if you're in a place where you're like, deuces, I'm out, like, then this job would help you because first of all, it's a very, very tangible step towards your goal. And you will learn things that you will be tested on in your flight attendant training. For example, airport city codes, 24-hour clock, hazmat information, as well as other FAA policies and procedures and regulations, FARs, Federal Aviation Regulations, that kind of cross over between the ramp and customer service and in-flight. So you will just learn a lot. You'll also get health insurance. Usually that's always something that is a benefit of working full-time for an airline, and you'll get flight benefits. So if you're in a place where you really do need to transition your life, but your dream airline's not hiring flight attendants, you could either consider working for your dream airline on the ground, or one of these other, if you don't have like one specific dream airline, but you want to go mainline, then maybe you could broaden that out a little bit. Another thing is usually you can get a job in your hometown, so you don't have to relocate unless you need to, unless you want to, and you say, no, I'm going to California to be a ramper. That's an option too. That's the second choice, is to get a job on the ground. Third option to help you move towards your goal, and this is probably the one you came for, is get a job working for a regional, fly for a regional. If you are saying to me, I understand all that you're saying, but yes, I want to fly for this major mainline legacy carrier. That is my ultimate goal. 5 years down the line, that's what I'm going to be doing. But today, I want to be in the sky. If you are saying, I am ready to become a flight attendant, this is it. Timing is right. Lifestyle opportunities are right. Now is the time for me to pursue my flight attendant career. If you're saying that to me, then let's get a job as a flight attendant. Let's start flying. So there are regionals and charters right now that are hiring. It will not negatively affect you when you go to interview for your dream airline if you work as a regional flight attendant right now. It absolutely will not negatively affect you. If you've heard that rumor, which it is a rumor, that is a rumor shared usually by people who are regional flight attendants who are not successful in their interview. And they say, oh, it's because I was a regional flight attendant. If it was because they were a regional flight attendant, it is because of the way they presented that information. I'll be honest, it's the way, and if this is you, I'm sorry. It's the way they presented that information in the interview. Sometimes regional or even flight attendants who are coming from, not just regional, I want to say flight attendants that are going from one carrier to another, in that big boy interview that they find themselves in, they sometimes wear their previous flight attendant experience as a badge of honor, and it kind of reeks of entitlement. I'll be honest. I've been in interviews where I've seen it. It kind of reeks of entitlement. So if you have heard of regional flight attendants not getting hired, it is not because they were a regional flight attendant. It is because they did not interview well during the interview. There is no stigma between going from one airline to another. Now, they will ask you, why are you leaving your airline? Or, why are you coming here? But they're going to ask you that question, why are you leaving Burger King to come work here? Like, they're going to ask you no matter what your job is. They're going to ask you, hey, why are you leaving here to come here? That's just an interview question. It's not something that is as specifically targeted to people who work as a flight attendant and other positions. So if you want to get a job with one of the airlines that are currently hiring, there's a link down in the description that will send you to a website page, my website page, that will give you all the information of who is accepting applications today, no matter when you watch this. Then I encourage you, if it is time for you to become a flight attendant, go for it. Go for it. Do not let the thought that maybe working for a regional is going to hinder you, and I keep saying regional, but I just mean another airline. There's a lot of regionals hiring right now, but if you want to go work for a charter for a little bit and see the world and then move over to back to commercial, or if you want to go work for a different major, maybe a low cost carrier or ultra low cost carrier, and then transition at some point over to a legacy carrier, none of this is going to stand in your way. So I've been helping aspiring flight attendants for 7.5 years, almost 8 years now. So I have worked with clients, helped them get hired for their first airline, get hired with JetBlue, and they get hired with American, get hired with Mesa, and they get hired with Spirit, get hired with Frontier, and they get hired with United. And those are very specific situations where I'm thinking of people that I have helped move. Get hired by Mesa, get hired by Alaska. So there is no, you do not need to worry about whether or not this next choice is going to affect your goal. The choice that you're making now with these 3 opportunities is which is best for you today, because they will all move you closer to your goal in the next couple years, 2, 3, 4 years, whenever we see the mainlines and majors, the legacy start hiring again. There is always the chance, though, that you fall in love with your airline and you just stay put and your goal changes. I mean, I guess that's kind of risky, but you know what? If you're so happy that you want to stay put, I don't really see that as a negative. So I know that right now there is a lot of, it's kind of discouraging if you had been waiting for that last baby to get off to college, or you had been waiting to pay off that student loan, or you had been waiting to finish your degree to become a flight attendant, and then you finish it all up and now is the right time, and your dream airline that's been hiring for years, thousands and thousands of flight attendants, are not accepting applications right now. I get that. I know that it is discouraging, but I hope that this video encourages you to not just be discouraged for 4 years, but to actually take some action, because there is no reason why in the next 6 months you cannot be wearing your wings, walking down the aisle, living your best life as a flight attendant. And in 5 years, looking back, if it takes you 5 years to get to your dream airline and then you work for them for 15 years, I can promise you, once you've been in there 10 years, once you've been in there 1 year, once you've been in there 7 years, and you look back, it's not going to feel like it wasn't worth it to get to that point. Even if you have to wait 5 more years. But in the meantime, we're not going to wait sad and discouraged. I want you to wait encouraged. I want you to feel like you are in control of your career, you're in control of your goals, and you're in control of your next step. That the economy and the COVID and the pandemic is not what decides whether or not you reach your goal of becoming a flight attendant, because that goal is still very much attainable. So I hope that maybe this relieves some of your fears. If you're freaking out, I'll never forget, it was actually 2019, I believe, in the Flight Attendant Career Connection Facebook group, there was a picture that was shared from a Delta graduating class, and it had 9 people in it, and they had all come from regionals, and they were all in that class together. So if that shows you anything, the classes are maybe 45 to 50 people. So, I mean, that's almost a fourth to a fifth of them, right? That had come from a regional straight into Delta when the opportunity presented itself. So there's no reason why you working for a regional is going to slow your career down or slow you down in any way. If anything, it's going to allow you to have a smoother transition because your learning curve will be a lot less steep, and you will have so many adventures under your belt from working as a regional or a charter flight attendant for the last couple years, that your experience with your dream airline will even be that much richer. So I hope that you find this encouraging. If you have any more questions for me, I would love to answer them. I hope to see you over in the Facebook group, and check down below in the description for the links to anything maybe that we have special going on at this time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.